Okay, so we're here live at Papanui Bowls now with the final game of the Summerset Nationals. It's going to be the B5 and B8 singles final between Graham Skellern and Graham Marshall. And I'm joined with me in commentary today by Bruce Wakefield. How are you, Bruce?
Yeah, good thanks, Alex.
It's
Been
always
a long
positive.
day.
It certainly has, but it's coming to a close now, and we're sure to finish with a bang. It's going to be a good singles final, I think. You played Graham Skellern in your semi?
Yeah, we had a good battle with Graham. He got a bit of a fast start on me. I was down, I was thinking about 10-1 early on and managed to claw the way back into the game once I got the feel of the green after coming off the other green. And yeah, we had a good battle and he's prevailed in the finish. I think it was 21-16, I think.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the game. It looked like a pretty high quality affair. And Graham Marshall, who's probably not familiar to many viewers, in contrast to Graham Skellern, who's been around for forever and a day. I was chatting to Graham Marshall. It's his 1.5 year of bowls he reckons he's been playing, 1.5 years, and he played snooker before that for about 30.
Yeah, there's probably a few tactical things in snooker that would help in bowls. One thing about the snooker balls, they go straight. The bowls have got a bit of a bias on them. Yeah, he plays out of the Kiatoa club in Timaru. I think he first started at Temuka, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that sounds like something he told me when I had a chat to him earlier on today. So this competition is just a singles thing. It's first to 21 points. So that's what it's going to be a race to if you look down the bottom of your screen. And I think, did we ascertain that Graham Skellern's playing with green discs on his bowls, Bruce?
Yep, that's correct. And Graham Marshall's got the red. Yeah, both got red bowls, which is interesting for the TV viewers to watch. But yeah, the discs will differentiate between the two.
Yeah, it'll just test our focus, I think. I mean, we lived with black bowls for a long, long time, and everything was fine back then. So tell me a bit about the disabled bowls, Bruce. Obviously, you've had a pretty awesome career that's still going on that level.
Yeah, I've been playing bowls for over 30 years. Had a few years off here and there to have a bit of a break and come back fresh. Yeah, the last 2.5 years have been pretty much full on playing bowls and most of the spare time. Trans-Tasman disabled teams, the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and the exciting participation in the Bowls 3-5 up in Auckland over 8 weeks. The Bowls New Zealand put the Parajacks team together and we competed against the able-bodied up there week in, week out. As you know, Alex, we played against you the first week.
I remember the first game, Bruce. I remember particularly how well you played against us. I was not happy.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty good, awesome start. You know, the pressure was on us to prove we could foot it against it, and to win our first game was just absolutely brilliant, especially against the defending champions.
Yeah, and you guys all played well to do it as well, and I think it's fair to say that you were a bit stiff to lose as many tie breaks as you did, the same as us. The Pirates lost 5 tie breaks, so I think you probably lost 5 or 6 as well.
That's what makes it so exciting, in that you can have a rough set and win the next one, and then you go to a one end tiebreaker and it's all on. And yeah, the kitty bounced over the rinks a few times during those tiebreakers, but no, absolutely thrilling way to play bowls, and the enjoyment factor was definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shot there. Well, we've been talking a reasonable head here from Graham Marshall and Graham Skellern. They've had, I think, that first end. Oh, I see a 4. So someone scored a 4 on the first end. To Graham Skellern, it's on our screen as well, Bruce. Look at that. So 4 to Graham Skellern on the first end, and a tie to 1 here from Marshall on the second. So we alluded before, a lot of people know Skelly or Graham Skellern. He's been playing bowls for a long time. You'd think he'd be feeling pretty confident coming into this final?
Yeah, I think he's just got that experience factor of playing a lot of games. Like he played in the able-bodied singles at this Nationals and lost to Ryan Burnett, and Ryan Burnett went through to the final. So yeah, that's the calibre of player he is, and he'll perform as he did against me. I sort of, whenever I looked like getting a big number, he just drove it and smashed it a few times. So yeah, he's pretty capable, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. Graham Marshall didn't seem phased at all. I had a chat to him before the game. He told me he played in the Disabled Nationals last year and went well in the pairs, I believe. Yeah,
he was winner of the Disabled Pairs in November last year. He was playing with Snow Red and one of the local bowlers here in Christchurch. He's actually my clubmate at Burnside, and we play a lot of pairs together. And yeah, him and Snow combined really well and won the final of the pairs back in November. So that was a nice way to start your disabled bowls career at the Nationals.
Yeah, and just quickly, that was a 3 there for Graham Skellern, so he's started off with a 4 and a 3, and I think anyone playing in a singles final say score a 4 and a 3 in the first two ends, you'd be pretty pleased with that. So a flying start here for Graham Skellern.
Yeah, I got a pretty slow start against Graham's in the semi-final, and I'd come off the screen and gone out to the back green, and the speed of them was a bit different. It took a wee bit of while to adjust.
Yeah.
I think Graham Marshall was probably finding it a bit different from playing out the back this morning as well.
I think the great thing about singles play in bowls, and it differs to the other disciplines, so you've got singles, pairs, triples and fours, and only singles, pairs and fours are played on a national level. It's the only one that's not constricted by number of ends, isn't it? So you're going a first tour number. You have to play that winning shot to get to that 21.
Yeah, 21 shots up, so you're still in the game until the opposition gets to 21. And like, how many times have we seen someone get to 20 and sit on it for ages?
Stuck,
I think there was a game yesterday in the qualifying rounds for the singles that one of the players was up 20-6, and within the blink of an eye it was 20 all. So anything can happen in singles. You get this change the length of the end and get control of kitty, and anything can happen.
Yeah. It was good weight there with Graham Skellern's first bowl on his backhand by the looks, and Graham Marshall, good green, but you're right with his weight. Sometimes it does take a little bit to find, and he's just falling that tad short there. So back to the disabled bowls. This is the first year, I believe, that Bowls New Zealand's included it in the nationals.
Yeah.
How have you found that?
It's been really good. It's pretty full on for a lot of the disabled bowlers. We actually played in some of the able-bodied events as well. I played in the men's pairs with Graham Rees, and we missed qualifying on an extra end, which would have made it interesting, because if we qualified for post-section I would have had to pull out of the disabled pairs, but you can't play everything all the time. It's the same situation happens in the Australian Open. If your disabled bowler is too successful in the able-bodied, sometimes they have to miss out on the disabled part of it.
The disabled bowls, do you have it's probably going to sound like a silly question, do you have like an organisation for you guys that sets up tournaments or centres stuff, or how does it work?
Yeah, we do have our own affiliated group, which is New Zealand Disabled Bowls Association, and at the moment we're our biggest thing at the moment is...
Good shot there from Scully while we're talking, killing the jack. So
yeah, he did that to me a few times as well, so I've seen that before today. And then they get the choice of playing from the same end or going down the other end. They've both got to agree, otherwise it comes back to where you played the original end from. And
those white jacks just fly, don't they? Like, you hit it and you saw it just get quite a lot of air. But sorry, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, New Zealand Disabled Bowls and the association with Bowls New Zealand are actually in the process of organising the next World Championships to be held here in Papanui Club and the Burnside Club in November 2020. And that's going to be a massive and exciting event for Christchurch to host later this year.
Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want a World Championship on their doorstep? So for anyone listening who's in the Christchurch area or further afield, come down to the Papanui Club and check that out. I think it'll be pretty interesting. Have you played in any World Championships for disabled bowls?
Yeah, I played in the last one in 2015, and I got beaten on a countback of points for and against to get to the semi-finals, and yeah, pretty tough. Yeah, pretty tough competition. I still blame this guy from Scotland that won it. I reckon he didn't want to play me again, so he made sure the other guy got more points.
Oh, fair enough.
And I still teased him about it a bit over the internet, and yeah, I beat him in section play, but he went through and won gold. And a lot of camaraderie and a lot of friends and friendships made during those events. Even like so when I was in the Commonwealth Games, and the South African guy I played against, he invited me out for when I was in South Africa on holiday. I caught up with him and had lunch, and he showed me around the town he lived in. Yeah, so that's sort of the camaraderie and friendship you build at different events from around the world. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's great. That's one of the things about bowls, I think, as a sport, is it's quite unifying, isn't it? You know, like anyone can play with and against anyone else, really. And we've literally seen that. There was a point today, I looked across the screen that we're looking at now at Bowls Papanui, and we had the blind bowls, which is a section that we have, the disabled bowls and the open bowls all playing on the same green.
Yep, exactly. And that's all about the all-inclusiveness that Bowls New Zealand's promoting at the moment, and that's one of the reasons why we're here during the normal nationals for the able-bodied singles and pairs championships. So it can only expand and get bigger and better from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty cool, and it's pretty neat. I'm quite pleased we've been able to bring this B5 to B8 singles final live on Sky Sport Next to the many people who may or may not be watching wherever they are in the country and the world. It's pretty neat to be able to watch this, and the standard of bowls is not bad either.
Yeah. Just to explain to some of the people that aren't aware of the breakdown of the B5 to B8, a B5 bowler is a bowler in a wheelchair who cannot throw a full-length end, and there's very, very few of them that actually play bowls. Mostly it's a B6 to B8. A B6 is normally a person in a wheelchair, a person that has an amputation of a leg above the knee, or with other ailments and disabilities that affect their coordination and balance, for the likes of myself that has cerebral palsy. I'm a B6, and we're classified the same as some of the people in a wheelchair.
Okay.
You get to B7, which is medium balance and other issues, and a B8 is someone that may have lost an arm or other functions to a minimal effect that affects them a bit less. Graham Marshall's actually a B8 because his amputation is below the knee.
Okay, that's interesting. So who sets that, Bruce?
That's the world classifications. There's a group of them that control the classifications and the rules and regulations on who's what. Yeah. There's 3 assessors at a world championship, and you get assessed at the world championships just to
That sounds a bit stressful.
Yeah, it took about 40 minutes to get me done when I was in Wellington. So, but I've got a permanent classification, so I don't have to be done again.
And Graham Skellern on the drive here after Marshall trailed it back on his forehand. What did he do? Oh, he's taken out 2 and left 1 behind, I think, there. So he chipped out 2 of the bowls, left 1 behind. He was the green, wasn't he?
Yep. It's hard to see from here which colour's left with the glare off the
Yeah, I think the shot bowl that we see at 6 o'clock, or it'll be 12 o'clock for a blind bowler, wouldn't it? 6 o'clock on your screen. I think that might be Graham Marshall's bowl.
Yeah, I think he might be still holding 2.
Yeah. Graham Marshall on his forehand here. I like how he stands and watches his bowl. And Skellern marching off in front. So he's not shy. Is he going to get the jack? Oh, nearly. What's our marker say?
Looks like 2 red lollipops.
Two red. Cool.
Yeah.
So first the first scoring there from Graham Marshall on the board now, 2-7 down, in that race to 21.
Zoom up.
Our camera operator will get it. It is pretty. The conditions are pretty cool. Well, literally and figuratively speaking, I suppose. Now we're getting to 6:45 at night, so there's a bit of a chill in the air, but that wind has died right down today, hasn't it, Bruce? Yesterday was a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, we played out at Woodend yesterday, and apparently it wasn't as bad as what you struck here on the greens, and the speed of the green here was pretty difficult to play in from all accounts of what we heard. Woodend was a wee bit sheltered, so we didn't get the full effects of it as what you do in an open space like this one here.
Now there were some interesting looking bowls, but again I suppose that's one of the challenges when you play outdoor, is to learn to play to the conditions, and the look on some bowlers' faces when they let it go and it feels good, and then you get a gust of wind, and that's the end of that really, isn't it?
Yeah, I've struck a few of them in the last couple of days. It makes life a bit interesting at times, and you think you've let away the perfect bowl on the perfect line, and all of a sudden you get a gust of wind and it's gone.
While we're on the topic of greens, I'd just like to take this chance to pass some feedback back to the person who looks after these. I believe it's the same greenkeeper who looks after the Burnside greens.
Yep.
Bruce, fantastic job.
Yeah,
He has done this Nationals.
He does an amazing job, and the hours that he spends putting into the work on the greens is just phenomenal. You know, Glenn, I wouldn't mind $1 for every hour he's out working on the greens.
No, it's certainly come through. So the players may be complaining about the wind, but I haven't heard one skerrick of anything negative about the greens here.
No, there's certainly, they're there to play on. You can play your shots on them.
Interesting there, Marshall. Good weight with both of his bowls. The one we see at 3 o'clock on the screen and the one we see at 9 o'clock on the screen. But slightly different greens there. I wonder if he let one of them go a bit funny or something.
Yeah, Mr. Just, quite often the at the end of a disabled bowler, you do lose your balance a bit now, and you just throw yourself off a wee bit in the delivery stride. I know I do it myself a few times, or it slips out the side of your hand. It's just, yeah, it's all part of the game.
It's a good sign when you're finding your weight right, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bruce, as a bowler, one of the most frustrating things if you can't get that speed of the bowl right and you're getting your good green.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how, you just take a slightly different line, it can end up something like 2 metres different instead of, a foot or so that you think it's going to be.
Okay, so one more question before you leave us for the minute.
Yep.
Bruce, so you've obviously been part of this bowling community and disabled bowling community for, what'd you say, 30 years.
Yep.
If you were to pick, say, a highlight from your career, could you do that, or narrow it down to a couple of your favourite things that you've got from the sport?
Oh, there's just so many over the years, but like representing New Zealand overseas in the Commonwealth Games and coming home with a silver medal, that's pretty hard to beat.
Absolutely, must have been a pretty special feeling to be standing there. Did you have a capping ceremony?
Yeah, my first representative fixture for New Zealand, I had the honour of being presented my shirt from Mike Kernahan, and that's always special.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining me for the moment, Bruce. That was pretty insightful and good commentary.
Yep, thanks Alex, and we'll hand over to, I think we've got Graham Reese here, one of the New Zealand coaches and coordinators.
Looking forward to a chat with him as well.
Yeah, you might learn something.
We might. While we've been talking there, Graham Skellern scoring one more point, so he now leads 8-4 in the race to 21. Hello, Graham.
Hello, Alex.
Another Graham.
Yeah, I think that's why I got the role. I'm not sure how those guys spell their name, but
Graham's left, right, and centre.
yes.
So, what have you been doing this Nationals?
I played with Bruce, who just left us in the peers, and we didn't qualify, but we were probably the best non-qualifiers. We dropped 3 games by 1 shot and won a couple, so had a lot of fun doing it, and struck a bit of tough opposition on the singles, so sat on the sideline watching after that as well, which is probably good from a coaching point of view.
Yeah, the good thing is you don't miss a bowl if you're watching, do you?
That's right.
Have you seen much of either of these players before, Graham?
Graham Skellern certainly has played a lot of bowls, and he turns up at every national, so as far as Graham Marshall's concerned, it's the first time I've seen him play, so looking forward to what he can produce, and looking at that bowl there, he's not too bad. So.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't know him from a bar of soap, I'm ashamed to say, but I went and had a chat to him before the final started and asked him how he started playing bowls, and he told me he's been playing snooker for 30 years and always thought bowls might be a good game to have a go at, and his neighbour invited him down for a roll-up.
Right.
And he chucked the first bowl up and thought it was like snooker, but hold it. So I think he's taken it pretty well, and he's had a bit of success, and obviously making the final of the men's B5 to 8 singles in his first attempt at it is pretty fair effort.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll be rattled here. Graham got off to a pretty good... Sorry, Skellern. I'll say their last names, eh? Skellern got off to a pretty good start. He scored a 4 followed by a 3.
Right.
But I don't think Graham Marshall will be that fussed. If he's played snooker or any competitive sport, I suppose, at a high level for a long time, he'll be used to that sort of pressure. So I'd expect to see him sort of chip away here.
Yes, you'd imagine that would be the case, and it's a long way to go to 21. So, anything's possible from here.
Skellern there on his forehand, looking like he's just going to fall a little bit short. I think he might be 1 down to that bowl you can see at 4 o'clock on your screen. It's just a bowl past the jack. Marshall here on his forehand. It always looks like he's... I think he's just lost the screen there, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, he's got good weight, but he's just lost his line a wee bit. But he's still got the shot, so...
Skellern now on his forehand again. Look, looking to make a correction. So I think he is one down. So he just looked just to add a little bit to his second bowl.
Yeah, he's played a good one here. He's got the shot with that. And, very close. Probably a bit of a shout out, Alex, to our markers as well. Margaret Eames is doing this game, and they've done a great job through the Nationals. And I know Margaret was looking forward to this, and yeah, they holding the lollipop up for us there makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah, most certainly does. And I think Marshall there, he was one down looking to draw the shot. He had perfect weight, but I suspect he was a bit narrow for it. I think it's probably going to be 1 to Skellern, which would put him into double figures for the, well, naturally for the first time, put him into double figures this game. 10-2 up in that race to 21. But yes, you know, you make a great point in regards to volunteers at these sort of big national championships. You have markers, umpires, men and ladies in the kitchen. Best cheese scones I've had in a long time, made by a man in the kitchen here at Bowls Papanui. People in the chart room. I mean, the list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just lucky enough to listen to the President of Bowls New Zealand, Mark, give a big shout out to all those folk, and certainly without our volunteers, our nationals wouldn't exist, and they've been fabulous, like they always are. But yeah, I think this venue's certainly held up to what Bowls New Zealand thought it would be, and I have been lucky enough to have a look on live streaming at all the games today, and certainly the backdrop of the new club there and just the surrounds are magnificent.
Yeah, and what a great bowl there by Skellern. While we've been talking on his backhand there, drawing a toucher. I think he's got every intention of making this game a winning one for himself, although we will have to see what Marshall has to say about that. But Bowls Papanui has been great as a host club, as the main venues, headquarters, that's the word I'm looking for, as a headquarters for this Nationals. I can't speak highly enough of them. We took a while to set up this live streaming. There's a lot of equipment to go out, and they were more than happy to oblige with anything we asked, and then a bit extra.
So just watching them go down that same side of the rink, it would appear at this stage Skellern's got his line pretty good, and he's played another good bowl here. Going to finish almost on top of it, and that's made it very difficult.
That's great bowls there, and it's not a very big target either. So Marshall's got his work cut out with him for him here. Just opting to play his backhand. I think he's a bit narrow with this one.
He's made the correction, but he might have just over-corrected. He's cutting across the centre line now, and Skellern's certainly well set up this head to add to a score.
It's always an interesting dilemma in singles play in particular, when your opposition starts off with two bowls close like that. Depending on how obviously good you are at different shots, there's a lot of players who just go, well, I've got 3 bowls, 3 goes, a 2-bowl target, I'll just have a nibble.
Yes, they would, and on these fast screens, sometimes you can get found out quite quickly.
Yes,
and,
4.
Look at that from Skellern. He's put 3 winner net width, and we do the coding at the high performance level for Bowls New Zealand, and he'd certainly code pretty well with those 3 bowls.
Yeah, it was exceptional there from Skellern, and Marshall here just struggling to find his line more than anything really, isn't it? His weight's fine.
Caitlin Inch just wanders past, the winner of the women's national singles, and even she would be impressed with what she's seen there for Skellern.
And what a national she's had as well. 2 national titles in one day doesn't come often, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of celebration happening there, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and look at Skellern here. He's put 4 within Kui, and he's just.
It looked like it was going to be the Kui, didn't it?
He still counts, and he's got the full house, and so Strong's under a wee bit of pressure here to hang in, so see what he can do. It's not a bad line looking from here, and so therefore he's given it a chance.
Huge ball in the context of the game, this one.
Yeah.
And he's very close.
Yes, he is. He's
Needs it to hold.
Oh, wow.
Needs it to hold.
He's a bit unlucky.
Oh, stiff. That was 3 fantastic bowls there from Graham Skellern, scoring a 3, so he's now 13-2 up in the race to 21. I think it was a 3, it might be a 4.
It was 3 myself. I think Armstrong just beat the 4th, so yeah, 3 to
3. Yeah.
Skellern.
So 13-2 to Skellern, and they race to 21 points. And this is the last game that we're going to be live streaming today, and for the Nationals, for that matter of fact. The 8th game we've streamed, the 8th round we've streamed. It's been 2 full days of live streaming, and
So
they've been long ones.
I could hear the relief in your voice, Alex, and at least we've got the sun shining, and that's probably the warmest part of the last couple of days almost.
Yeah, it's a bit sad to say that at 6:57 p.m. I'm the warmest I've been in about 48 hours. But it doesn't take away from what has been a great Nationals to be a part of, and it's been cool to be able to bring the updates to the masses, so to speak. Available, of course, all over the Bowls New Zealand Facebook page and website. You just have to have a look. There's 2 huge threads, one for yesterday and one for today, and that has all the results for all the games on the Facebook page and the website. You just go to events along the top and click Summerset National Singles and Pairs and have a look there, and you'll find everything you could ever want to find and a little bit more.
Yes, I must admit, I've been sitting at work doing that for the last couple of days, Alex, and it's easy to find, and hopefully the boss isn't listening. But so we just had a look at what's happened with this first bowl, and first bowl in singles is so critical, and Graham Skellern has again put one within a net width and put the pressure straight away on Armstrong, who's just finished over, but he's given something in the area for his next bowl. But
look at this! Look at this from Skellern. That's great bowls there. 2 real close. You say, within that mat length, he's chucked 2. So out of his last 6 bowls, 5 have been within a couple of feet.
That's right. Yes, and he's playing well.
Yeah, you keep doing that, you're going to be a national champion.
I had a look at the semi-final between Bruce Wakefield and Graham Skellern, and he was doing exactly the same on the quicker green out the back. So to make the adjustment like he has, and just shows how wily a competitor he is. And of course, he in the open singles got beaten by the eventual runner-up Ryan Burnett in post-section play. So
yes, he did. I watched that game. That was out the back as well. And a 3rd bowl here, I think good line, but maybe just a little bit short. So holding 2, and the Graham Marshall here has the decision to make. It's his 3rd bowl, so singles theory, your 3rd bowl is the one where you change something, isn't it?
Yeah, and he really needs to get back in the game, and this, he's got the bowl behind, so he's got an opportunity to sit have a Graham's shot bowl, and
I think that's going to drift on him. I don't think that's going to come back. Oh, maybe it'll come back.
Oh, he's not as bad as you look. Alex,
I'm the worst commentator.
Right there. He's got the jack. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, he probably wants you to keep calling that sort of.
I'll say it again next time. But what a great shot that was. Yeah. I called all the way down on his backhand, trailing the jack back for 2. To be fair to me, Graham, I thought he had a bit more weight there.
Yes, he played it very well, and certainly that gets him back in the game. If he can hold a couple here and just string a couple of ends together, it's usually the momentum shifts, and perhaps could be.
Skellern with the drive on his forehand. Is he close? What a shot there. Great bowl from Skellern. I think he's probably killed that.
Yes, and Armstrong chucks his bowl up in the air as if to say, what do I have to do? And
I wouldn't run that risk. Great shot there from Skellern, playing with purpose, but I mean, I think we see there. So Marshall's going to get the bowls taken back. It's a wily trick from a junior bowler, unless the jack isn't.
I don't know whether they can decide what's out yet.
Okay.
The umpire's in with his measuring scope, so that's a bit of technology coming in for us. And
so what we're seeing here is if a jack is killed outside the confines of the rink, which you can see marked by the pegs ordinarily, the end's finished, and you replay it. If it's within it, Marshall's going to have an opportunity to draw for 1. So the umpire just figuring out what's what. And in a second, Graham, I'm just going to get you to switch out, and we're going to have Sue Curran join us, and we'll have a chat about the blind aspect of the bowls we've had here, the disabled nationals that have been a part of this Bowls New Zealand Summerset Nationals. It's been fantastic to have all the different disciplines play, and we just want to learn a little bit about that.
Let's bring Sue in now. Well, we've got a bit of a break in play. So
sounds like
Sue.
Cool. So I've got Sue Curran next to me now. Hello, Sue. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you very much.
That's wonderful news. Thank you for joining me. And it just looks like, just quickly, that the jack was inbounds here. So Graham Marshall's going to have a go at drawing it on his forehand, and then we'll have a bit of a chat. Just a little bit heavy there and falling into the ditch, so Skellern scoring some points. We'll wait for the marker to tell us how many. One to Skellern there, so it's 14-2 now to Skellern on the race to 21. So, Sue, can you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with the sport, and then we can work from there.
Okay, well I started with the blind bowls probably just on 8 years ago with losing my vision,
Okay.
and I've had quite a journey since then. I've been to a couple of World Championships, Commonwealth Games a couple of times. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, did you play lawn bowls before you lost your vision, or was it something that happened after? Or
I took up lawn bowls when I lost my vision.
Okay.
I was hacking around a golf course badly before that, so I hadn't played lawn bowls prior to that, no.
Okay, and what sort of prompted you into that? Was it something, did one of your friends say, look, there's a sport you could take up and have a go at, or?
Yes, it was actually my late stepfather who was a lawn bowler and had been for many years. He suggested I do something different, have a go at lawn bowls. He felt I might have some ability for it. And sadly, he hasn't seen the journey that I've been on.
No, obviously he put you on a really cool one, and that's pretty awesome.
He did, it was fantastic.
So did you play any other sports earlier on, Sue?
I used to play netball and tennis, but finished that as a teenager sort of thing.
Okay, that's cool. So can you tell us a little bit then about blind bowls? We'll start off with in New Zealand. Like, how does it work? Do you have a national organisation or?
We do. We have the New Zealand Blind Lawn Bowling Association. I'm the immediate past president of that. Was on as president for 4 years. We have 4 categories in blind bowls. Starting off with a B1, which is a totally blind player. B2 is a player who has a bit of hazy vision or can see shadows, hand movements.
Yeah.
B3, somebody who can see a little bit further, see something 20, 30 feet away from you. And then B4 is quite often a tunnel vision, so they can actually see right down the end of the green, but they can't see anything else around them.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes, so we have 2 B4s currently playing at the moment on Rink 6, I think they're on.
Okay, yes, yeah, we can see them over. Well, we can't see them over. I can see them over to
I
our
can't
right.
see them over there.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. So you have your own national organisation.
We
so
do.
what's its purpose? How does it administer the sport for people who are losing their vision? Do you run tournaments?
We certainly run tournaments. We have a national tournament every year, usually run in November. We recently had the last one in Hamilton.
Okay.
And we've had them down in Christchurch prior to that. We try to encourage new people that are losing their vision to come, and we get them sight tested to make sure that they do qualify for playing blind bowls, and just encourage them to come along, have a go. Most of us play at local clubs, sighted clubs anyway, and we just, if anybody's losing their vision, young or old, just come along and.
Yeah. It seems like a really great way to get a sense of community, really, doesn't it? To share sort of the sport. And
it is, and the only other thing we do ask is if they can possibly bring somebody along that can help them with the sport. They can get some coaching to show them how they can do it, and we need distances, obviously, and some sort of direction to put the bowls down. And
yeah. Just quickly, divert back to the
yes,
game for a second.
Fine.
So Graham Skellern now holding 4, as we can see on the screen, and 4 great bowls. He's put it within a couple of feet, and I think Marshall's just going to just miss. Yeah, so there's a 4 there to Skellern, so he's now 18-2 up, which is pretty emphatic at the moment, but it's never over till it's over, is it? So we'll just see what happens there, but 4 more to Skellern. 18-2 up on that race to 21. And back to what we were just talking about before, it must be pretty neat, Sue, the relationships. Like, how do you pick a guide for yourself? Is that something that happens? Do you pick a guide, or is it assigned? Or
Well, it's not actually assigned, no. We try and encourage somebody we know personally to come and help us. I started off with a local lady from Hamilton for a couple of years, and she wasn't available for an international tournament that I wanted to play in Wellington, so I've been lucky enough to have Anne Muir come on board as my director, coach.
fantastic.
Yes, so I can't get much better than that.
Nah, she's got some
Yeah.
pretty mighty credentials.
She has. Yes, she's pretty strict with what she expects of me and so on, but that's improved my game
Okay.
immensely.
So, talking about guides and that sort of thing, is there a set way in which you direct? Like, I know I've done a little bit, like a tiny bit of guiding for indoor bowls. I popped down to the Roscommon Districts Hall
Okay.
for the Nationals there, and they have a clock system, and
Yep.
you talk an indoor mat's 24 feet long, I think, so you go from they say 15 to 20, so
Yes.
you call out the length and that sort of thing. Is it similar in outdoor, or does every player have their own
No,
thing they prefer?
the call on when the bowl finishes is the clock system.
Yep.
Most of the directors will give you this 12 o'clock a metre, 6 o'clock 3 metres, something like that. They give us the distance of the green or the rink, how far up when you finish bowling.
Is that in metric or imperial? Have we moved on to metric in the?
In some cases, you'll get a 1 metre or 6 inches or something. It's still very mixed.
Yeah.
But we do work with the clock system, the same pretty much. But a director can direct from the front of the player.
Okay. Is that common in New Zealand, or
Not so common in New Zealand, more common in overseas. But some of our directors here do.
bowlers, as you go through your career, finals feel a bit different, I think, a bit later on. I think the more finals you play in, sort of the easier they are to be a part of, and perhaps I think once you start winning, it's sort of easier to keep it going. Have you found that, or?
Well, to a degree, yes, but it makes you that much more competitive because a loss is very painful.
Yeah, the scar tissue, isn't it?
Yes, and you know you've got to do that much better. When we meet up with a lot of these players quite a few times, and you know if you've beaten them last time, you've got to get to a certain standard to beat
Yeah.
them again, because they'll always improve.
Yeah,
And if you don't put the time and effort into it, you're going to get left behind.
absolutely. So just quickly before we switch back to
Mm-hmm.
the third Graham, this is the first time that Bowls New Zealand has had the 3 or the B1 to 8, I suppose, nationals as part of our Open Nationals. What's the chat been around that? Around like the blind bowls. Have you found it a cool addition to the calendar?
Very much, very much. We need this sort of competition. I think most of the players have enjoyed it. The only comments is just it's getting very late in the evening now, and it's been a lot of hanging around for some of them. But first time out, I think Bowls New Zealand have done exceptionally well, and I
Awesome.
hope they will include us in
Oh.
continuing competitions.
I have no doubt. I think Bowls New Zealand has done a great thing in
I think
adding
so.
this event, and I think it just proves what a diverse sport this game is.
Yes.
I think
Well,
it's,
most of our players, I think, in fact, all of the ones here are very competitive, and they just want to improve and prove that they can do it.
awesome. Thank you very much. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. Very interesting. I hope we have
Thank you for
a
the
chat again
opportunity.
at some point.
Yes,
Not a
thanks very
problem.
much.
Okay, so we've had a little technical difficulty, so we're just going to call the game from where we are. So we literally can't switch cameras to have the bowls coming towards us. So I've got the other Graham, the third Graham here next to me in the commentary box, and one of the other Grahams, Graham Skellern, is on 19 points, and the other Graham Marshall, is on 2. Have you been paying attention? Who's holding there?
Graham Skellern's just drawn a second, so it could be all over any second.
You might have a short commentary stint.
Yes, yes.
So it's the last bowl here now, and this is for the inaugural B5 to 8 singles championship. Do you know it was mixed, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
I've spoken to Pam and Linda and all those that were on 3-5. So yeah, it's good to see them in person. Armstrong might have just slipped past, unfortunately. Yep, the game shake hands time. And,
well, we'll keep talking because our producer is trying to figure out what happened to the camera. So I suppose we take this as an opportunity to wind up. But Graham Skellern, they're taking the win, that national singles title, 21-2 against Graham Marshall. And that there concludes the Summerset Nationals for this year in Christchurch. It's back in Tauranga. Well, it's not this year, is it? It's back in Tauranga in February, I think, for the fours. Are you going to be attending that?
no, unfortunately, just haven't got the leave from work
Cool.
to get up there. But
So you can watch the live streaming.
I can, yes.
Fantastic. So I'd just like to take this opportunity quickly before we sign off to thank everyone who supported us and watched during this Nationals, and the team that helped run it at Bowls Papanui, and you obviously for joining me in the commentary, Graham. It's been a fun, albeit short, final to commentate.
We might do it again one day, Alex, and I just like to thank the live streaming people myself, because as I say, I've been watching the last couple of days, and I'm sure the people watching now would agree that it's a great product and getting better, and yeah, so well done.
No, awesome. Thank you very much for that, and yeah, congratulations to Graham Skellern for taking out this inaugural national title.